Hello, hello, once again. You are here with me, Insane Pain. I am art teacher extraordinaire, and we're going to be creating a color wheel today. First thing, we're going to need a couple of supplies, though, all right? We're going to need some printer paper because we're going to practice our color wheel first on the printer paper, and then from there, we're going to switch over to another medium that we might be using, like watercolor paper or maybe some hot press or cold press board or something. It depends on the paint we want to use. So this is just a regular sheet of printer paper. I've got a ruler, a compass, pencil, and I got a couple of bottle caps here. Now the bottle caps, this one came off a water bottle, those cheap plastic water bottles. This one came off a Dr. Pepper. So I'm just going to keep these to the side because they're relatively around the same size and they're nice and small so I can trace around them. Okay, so now the first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to divide this paper into half. Two halves, basically. So I'm going to double check the measurement on my paper so I know that the measurement using the 0 point, yep, that's the 0 point right there, of the ruler is going to tell me that it's 8.5 inches wide. And I'm going to check the top too, because you never know, it might be cut wrong. Yep, 8.5. Now we're going to rotate it so that way I can get the length of the paper. 0 point, measuring 11 inches. Go to the other side just to verify. 11 inches, yes, I'm ready to go. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to leave it on this side. So I know 11 inches is basically 1 inch more than 10. So half of 10 is 5. So that means I'm going to do 5.5 inches right here. So that will tell me that that is an extra 5.5 inches will equal 11. So I put a little tick mark, call it a tick mark, it's about the size of a tick, really tiny, there. And then I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here, 0 point on my ruler, find 5.5, and put another tick mark. Now I'm just going to use my ruler to draw a line in between the two. Now y'all are going to want to draw really, really light. Draw light till you get it right. I'm going to use a little bit heavier pencil because I need it to show up on camera. So here we go. In between the two lines, and boom, I've got a paper divided in half. So now what I'm going to do is rotate it this way. So I've got my 8.5 inch side, 8.5. So I know half of 8 is 4. So if it's half, then half of that is going to be basically a quarter. So 1/4. So 4 and 1/4 is right there. And I'm going to do a tick mark. Did that at the bottom. Guess what? Got to do it at the top. 4 1/4. Right there. All right. Put my lines right, my ruler right there so you can see my two little tick marks. There's one there, and there's one there. So I am going to draw the line in between those, making sure I hold my ruler straight. Don't let it flop around, even though it's got cork on the back. Sometimes it might slide. So I'm just going to press a little heavy. You guys draw light till you get it right. All right. So now I can put my ruler to the side. Just put it up there for now. Lay my pencil down because now I'm going to the compass. Now the compass is a great tool for drawing circles. And you can change it, adjust it. This one's a little stiff. If you get one that's a little stiff, just barely unscrew that lock nut right there. If you just unscrew that lock nut just a little bit, it'll slide open a lot easier. Only drawback to that is the pencil might slide up inside there as well. So I'm going to return it back to my position of closed or 0 inches. And I want to open this to 5. Okay, 5. So when I do that, I'm going to make sure it's a little bit loose. Gently open. Notice I'm not moving that pencil at all to the 5. Now, the 5 right there is between the 6 and the 4. And now I'm going to tighten this thing down just a little bit so that way the pencil and the compass needle don't move. Now, I divided my paper in half so I would know where to put my compass needle. That's the needle point right there. So as I'm drawing this, I want to make sure that that needle does not move. If it does, I'm going to mess up my circle. But if I do, it's not the end of the world. We're just going to turn this mistake into a masterpiece, and we will just put the compass needle right back on. All right, so here I go. I'm going to hold my compass starting this half of the circle on the left side with my right hand. So I am going to start going around. There we go. And now I'm going to swap hands, making sure I don't move my compass. If I do, I haven't changed my compass setting. All right. So I'm going to put my compass right back on that needle, and we'll go right around here. That needle is right on that center point. Nice circle there. All right. Now I'm going to have to create 12 sections of this. It's basically 4 right now, but I want to break it down into 12. So don't change your compass setting. Leave it at 5. If you change it, make sure you go back to 5, because that's how big we made this circle. So I'm going to go to the 3 o'clock position, which is right over here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to start making a circle like this, except all I need to do is cross where the circle was. So just a little tiny bit. That's it. And a little tiny bit up here. That's it. Now I'm going to go to the 6 o'clock position, just like a clock. Put my compass needle right on there and cross that other circle. Cross that main circle right there. Little tiny point just right there. And I'm going to keep going around until I cover every single intersection. And now I'm going to go all the way up to the 12 position. Right there. And cross over. And come over here and cross over. Now I'm going to double check. Let's see what I've got. Before I close my compass, I have added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 little parts to this. So if 8 plus 4 is 12. So I've got 12 o'clock, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and back to 12 right there. Bam. So now my compass is safe to put back into the safe position. Safe position right there. Close. Boom. And now I can either get rid of the compass or I can pass that to somebody else at the table if they want to get the work done. All right. So as we get going, have a quick sip of tea here. We are going to go right into dividing this. Now we want to judo chop easy. And remember, line is a point in space that continues, or a line is something that travels between 2 points. So I've got a point here because I've got a line that crossed over. I got a point here because I crossed over. But I want those lines to be complementary, like complementary colors. So we're going to start here and go through the middle of the color wheel. So I could draw this line all the way through. Remember, draw light so you get it right. Don't draw heavy because you're going to want to erase a lot of this. So I've got a line crossing through there. Here goes through the middle point, so it's going to connect to there. And I'm just going to keep going around until I cover all those points. Remember, if you got a point that's going across, but it's not going through the middle of the color wheel, don't use it. Just use the lines that are going through the middle of the color wheel. Looks like I've got one more right here. And there we go, through the middle. Excellent. I'm done with the ruler now. I can pass that on and let my neighbor work with it. Now, I got a few bottle caps here. I can use either one just to help me draw my circles. I kind of like this one because I drew a line in the middle. So that way I kind of know that that's the middle part. And all I'm going to do is set it on this sheet of paper around the circle. So if I was rolling this all the way around this wonderful circle that I made, everywhere it's going to line up, I'm going to try and make sure it gets that center point and goes around. So I'm just creating multiple little circles around this big circle. And I'm going to do that really quick. But rather than have you guys sit here and watch me draw, I'm going to do the internet speed action here. All right, here we go. All right, so now I've got the color wheel drawn out the way I kind of want it. This is mostly just so we can label and test everything out. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of label some stuff around here so that way I know what I'm working with. So I like to start with red, yellow, blue, because those are the primary colors. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to draw lines in between those, a nice solid line in between those colors, because those are the primary colors, and those are the colors that all the other colors for the color wheel are created from. So if we mix two primaries, we are going to get secondaries. So secondaries, red and yellow, they combine right here, meet in the middle, to make red and yellow makes orange. Now, yellow and blue combine right here and make, yellow and blue makes green. Red and blue are going to combine here, boom, and drop down and make V for violet. All right. Now, the other colors, they're just intermediates. That's all they are. So here's what I'm going to do for this one, though. The secondaries, I'm going to use a dotted line. I like to break that line up, so that way I know that it's kind of different than the primaries. And that way I know that I can create the intermediates by mixing a primary and a secondary together. Let's keep lining this up and finish this off real fast. There we go. And if I wanted to, I could go over this with Sharpie and erase a lot of stuff. You can do that on your own. I'm not going to worry so much about this because this is just for my notes for my sketchbook. All right, but I've got to finish naming the intermediates. So right here, I know that this is definitely a primary color. So I'm going to label some of this stuff over here on the sides. Or I could just change it my own way. But primaries and a secondary is going to give me this color here, intermediate. So we have to start with the primary name first, which is yellow, and green is the secondary. So this is going to be yellow-green. This one here, these two colors mixed together, is going to be blue-green. That's primary name first. Red and blue, that makes violet, but now blue and violet is going to make blue-violet. Red and violet is going to make red-violet. And red and orange, oh, I love that. We're just going to put that right here. We'll call that red-orange. And then finally, we've got yellow and orange, which is yellow-orange. So we know solid line is primary, dotted line is secondary, and the other colors are intermediates. So at this point, I could clean this whole thing up and label primary, secondary, intermediate just to help me out if I was going to have a quiz. You will on this, and that way I can remember it or always review my notes. All right, but I'm going to use just real fast the internet and magical technology that I have here in the studio, and I'm going to just convert this over into a straight drawing that is finished. All right, here we go. Whoa, now look at that. It's totally done. So I've made circles, kind of outlined everything real quick with a Sharpie, but I labeled the primary, my secondaries, and then I just left these by themselves. They're the intermediates. So that way I know. Now at this point, this would be a great time to get out some color pencils or even markers, probably color pencils, and just go ahead and fill in all these colors so that way I know kind of what they look like, other than me just labeling them. All right, well, in the future, try some different things. Let me know how your color wheels work out, and hey, let's get creative.